I moved from Cameroon to the UK as an accountant, and yes, exactly how I did it. Hi, my name is Geshan. I'm an ACCA qualified accountant. I hold a master's degree in professional accountancy from the University of London, and I'm also a certified internal auditor. I have over 7 years of work experience across 2 Big Fours and 1 mid-tier firm working in Cameroon, Central Africa, and currently in the United Kingdom. Moving back into the main topic of today's video, how I moved from Cameroon to the UK as an accountant. Let's get right into it. I'll be giving you key insights into my journey and how I was able to achieve this huge step. So basically, everything began with my bachelor's degree in economics, and this decision to do economics was quite intentional. I knew I loved numbers, I knew I loved accounting, but I wasn't really sure at this early stage of my career that that's something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I chose economics because it gave me like some sort of a wider base, and I could easily pivot to anything else I wanted to do around economics, which is not definitely accounting. So that was my main drive for doing a bachelor's in economics instead of accounting. So at the same time, while I chose to study economics, I made a decision to do the ACCA alongside my economics degree. So at that point, I really didn't know how I was going to manage this, but I just told myself, if it doesn't work out for me, then I will drop the ACCA, complete my bachelor's degree, and then fall back to the ACCA once I'm done. This decision was not an easy one, but I just realized that I kept going. It required a lot of discipline and a lot of consistency. But after doing it for like a number of months, I had built up a level of momentum. So it became something that was part of me. And before I knew it, 4 years was over and I had both my bachelor's degree and my ACCA completed. So after school, my first opportunity I was able to secure was an internship in a well-known brewery company in Cameroon. So interestingly, this was not even in accounting and finance. This was an internship within supply and operations of this company. So I just thought to myself that I would take up this opportunity and use it as a stepping stone. So at the time, I felt like, oh, I could migrate within accounting and finance in that company, but I still kept my options open. And when I look back at this opportunity, I feel like it really helped me because having this company's name on my CV gave me an edge into securing a role in a Big Four. So I did this internship for a period of 6 months, and I was able to secure another internship in a Big Four firm. Over time, I moved up my way to audit senior. So the way the firm works, you start as an audit intern, you move to associate 1, associate 2, sometimes associate 3, and eventually you get to audit senior. So within 4 years, I had worked my way up from an intern to an audit senior. So at this point in my life, I was very naive, but working in this firm exposed me to different entities, different sectors, and it really helped me build like the fundamental technical and professional skills which aided me within my journey. So while I was working at this Big Four, I took a step back. I did another assessment of my professional qualifications, and that's when I realized that I needed a master's degree. So I decided to take up the master's in professional accountancy from the University of London. So this was an online master's, and I did it alongside working in the Big Four. It really wasn't easy balancing that master's degree and work. I mean, we all know how stressful and demanding working in a Big Four is, but I just understood that this is a very vital addition to my CV. And to be very honest with you, I did not know what this master's will really get me in the future, but I just felt like I should continue working on my CV and continue with the self-development, continue getting those certifications, which I believe add value to my professional journey as an accountant. So once I got to audit senior, I sort of started thinking beyond my current environment. I felt like I wanted a change. I wasn't quite sure what that change was, so I started looking at opportunities, probably in Africa, in countries like Ivory Coast, Senegal. I was looking for opportunities that could make me break through internationally. But then what I thought my CV could get me was a job in Africa. I had absolutely no idea that I could just sit in Cameroon, send an application to the UK and get recruited. So at that point, I was limited to Africa, and that's the sort of jobs that I kept on applying for. So I'm not in any way undermining roles in Africa, but I'm just saying that at that time in my career, I felt like I could only be within Africa. I didn't feel like I could actually secure something at an international level, like out of Africa. So the turning point for me came when I saw a friend of mine make this move. Like, he and I had exactly the same CVs. Let me say extremely similar CVs. We had the same master's degree, we had bachelor's degrees, we had the ACCA, and we both had experience from Big Fours. And he made the move from Cameroon to the UK as an audit assistant manager. So when I saw him make this move, it was like a total shift for me. And this is the point where I really emphasize on the importance of your network as a professional, because you can have all the experience, you can have all the certifications you need, but you might still not know where those things can get you if you're not joining the right networks, if you don't have the right sort of people within your network. So if I didn't know this guy, I probably would not have even known that this was possible. So when I saw him make this move, I told myself I will not just target Africa, I will start targeting out of Africa, Europe and other countries, since I see that it's actually quite possible that this move can be made. So this is the point where I started applying to the UK. I sent out so many applications for different audit roles within the United Kingdom. So I got so many rejections when I started applying. But what I did was, with every rejection, I refined my CV. I understood that these CVs are probably being read by an AI before even getting to a person. So as I kept getting rejections, I will keep refining my CV, changing keywords, making my CV suit the job description I'm applying for. I reached out to my friend for guidance on the sort of CV he used. I refined mine to reflect the key skills and the key requirements of each specific role. And that's how I eventually managed to secure an interview after so many countless rejections. I had to prepare very, very intensely for the interview. I used YouTube, I used guidance from my friend, I did a lot of research, and I had an answer ready for every potential question that could come up in that interview. And most of the questions I got asked were questions I had prepared for. I think just very few were questions I had to think about on the spot, but a majority of the questions were questions I already had documented answers for. And that's how I eventually got the role. So that's basically my story of how I moved from Cameroon to the UK as an accountant. And if you're trying to make a similar move from Africa to the UK as an accountant, here are the key lessons I've learned along my journey. First, your qualifications matter. I feel like you really need to invest in your professional qualifications, your academic qualifications, to reflect the requirements of the global job market. Currently, with regards to accounting, it's usually the ACCA. Depending on where you want to go, maybe if you want to migrate to the UK or the US, you consider the CPA or the ACCA. But bottom line is, you should try to build yourself up with the relevant certifications. Additionally, you need to combine these certifications with relevant work experience. You need to make sure that where you are actually gaining skills which are marketable within the global accounting and finance career space. Secondly, if you are really passionate about what you want, you absolutely have to go for it, even if it feels uncomfortable. In my case, that was me doing the ACCA and the bachelor's at the same time, and me combining the Big Four with my master's degree in working for the Big Four and doing a master's degree in professional accountancy. So I believe you need to go for what you think is relevant for you, even if it feels uncomfortable, because the benefits really, really do compound. Also, you should not be afraid of failure, because if I was afraid of failure, then I would have stopped at some point, because I was getting rejections on a daily basis, but I took those rejections as a stepping stone. I took them as a lesson. So I just kept on looking for what I haven't done right to make it right. So rejection should not scare you, no matter how many rejections you get. If you're really passionate about doing something specific, you should just keep going and asking yourself the right questions, asking yourself what you can do better to be able to qualify for specific roles. And no matter how many rejections you're getting, each rejection is bringing you closer to where you're meant to be. So on this channel, I'll be sharing key insights about how to break through the global finance and accounting career space, and also very relevant information on certifications such as the ACCA. If you're interested in building a global career in accounting and finance, I'll be sharing more detailed tips on every aspect of my journey, focusing on the qualifications, the career moves, the different certifications I've had to achieve within my journey and how they've aided me. So there's really going to be a lot of content on my YouTube channel. So if this is something you're interested in, please click the subscribe button. Thank you.